My name is Nick Laidlaw. I'm a holistic exercise and lifestyle coach from Sydney's Northern Beaches. I've created a video platform because I'd love to reach as many people as possible with these simple messages of health. I've also interviewed a host of individuals from our community. In their lives and in their own way, they've all helped to shape me to be a better person. So I hope that they inspire you in some way too. Karl, thanks for coming to have a chat.
No worries, thanks for having me.
So obviously, we've grown up together and known each other for a long time and started surfing together in that context. But I suppose more recently you've been known to be a bit of a big wave surfer and getting into that side of things. So can you tell us how you got into big wave surfing?
Yeah, well, started off, I did the junior series for the, as you know, we did the junior series together when we were, up until about 19. And then I kind of just made the decision not to continue doing the QS. I never really had that many good results doing the junior series. So then just started chasing a few swells down the south coast, and that's how it all kind of really began. And the first big trip was when I went to Shipsterns when I was 19 years old. Tim Benithan, the filmer, mentioned that he was going down and there was a big swell, so I had a bit of money saved up and it sounded like a good idea, so I thought I'd grab my boards and head down and give it a go. So that's where it all really kicked off for me, and I kind of found out I had a love for chasing swells.
And that first trip that you did to Shipsterns, was it all set up and well organised, or was it something that happened at the last minute? Can you tell us about that first journey?
Yeah, no, it was really unorganised actually. I just found out that there was a swell through Tim. He said he was going with a bunch of pro guys like Kobe Aberden and Ryan Hitwood and a few other guys, but they'd kind of organised everything, and he just said, no, if you're there, I can, I'll be there and try and help out, but they kind of had their thing planned. So I made a few calls to a few different friends of friends that I knew and grabbed whatever boards I had, and just booked a flight and just was going to get dropped off at the track and walk in and hope for the best. And then I remember I got to the airport and I saw Kobe Aberden and stuff, and we all ended up being on the same flight, and Kobe came after me and kind of just looked at me and said, "Bro, where are you going?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to Shipsterns." And he said, "What are you going to do? How are you going to surf? Are you just going to paddle?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm just paddling by myself." He's like, "What boards you got?" And I told him, and he kind of just laughed at me and kind of said I got no hope, and then he just walked off and went and sat next to all his mates.
So that would have given you some confidence?
Yeah, so I was like, I was well and truly scared by that stage. And then, we actually got to the airport in Tasmania, and I was going to get picked up by a friend of a friend, and he was going to take me to the track so I could walk in. And then Kobe actually came up to me and said, "Mate, come on, you can jump in with us, and you come and get a lift out in the boat with us, and we'll kind of take care of you." So
took you under his wing a little bit.
Took me under his wing a little bit, which was gave me that little bit more confidence. But still, now I knew I was locked in, and there was no pulling out because I had to go with them.
And so I suppose through following your career as a big wave surfer really closely, you've always haven't had the backing of major sponsors, and you've always kind of come in as an underdog and done it yourself. Can you tell us about the first wave that you caught? And I think that was a really big you kind of proved yourself really well on that, and that was the start of a lot of things to come. Yeah,
well, to start off, so I've worked as a landscaper, gardener since I was probably about 14 really. I still went to school, but in holidays and after school and everything, I just helped my old man out and earn money for surfboards and to travel and everything. And then I started, then that just gave me a backing to be able to go and chase swells. I'd work really hard all summer, and then winter when swells would come, I'd have the money saved up to go and chase swells. So I pretty much paid for everything myself. Then, that first wave that I caught when I was down there, I remember Kobe made me and Dean Bowen ride the ski out together when they went in the boat, and it was so cold. I'd never experienced anything like it. And so me and Dean just rode the ski out together, and then I got there and I knew I'd committed to paddling in, and it was big and chunky, and everyone was just watching it, and there was no one out there. And that's when I just grabbed my board and went, okay, I just can't even look back now. I said I'd do something, so I'm going to try to do it. And I went out there and another bodyboarder came out. It was just me and him sitting out there, and everyone else was getting ready to tow and just sussing it out a bit. And then, yeah, the first kind of big wave that I saw come, I just put my head down and paddled hard as I can, and just, yeah, just free fell from the top and jumped down it. And it felt like I was jumping down a 10-foot building, and I'd just never been more flogged in my life. I snapped my board in 2 pieces. And just had the biggest hold down I've ever had. Just the velocity of the power there. I'd never experienced anything like that at the time.
With the cold water as
well.
well.
The cold water and the power and just the force of it all.
Very raw experience.
Yeah, so I came and got picked up on the jet ski by Ryan Hitwood, and I remember I got up on the ski and I sat on the ski, and then when I sat there I just went, ooh, and just fell like straight off. He just reached down and pulled me back up on the ski and went and dropped me off in the boat, and yeah, everyone kind of just gave me a bit of a pat on the back and kind of, earned my way in there just by going that one wave. And then I watched it, for a few hours, and then Kobe gave me his tow board and got Hippo to whip me into a few, and that's when it all, that's when it all really started, and I got some of the biggest waves in my life to date for that trip. Yeah, and then just, yeah, that's where it kind of, I just went, wow, this is pretty fun, chasing the swells and everything that came with it, and just that experience. So it kind of just went from there. And then I just continued to work and spend all my money for good, probably 5 to 8 years. I just spent every cent I earned on chasing big swells.
And amongst that time, you've had, some really good coverage in magazines. People in the media have taken a liking to you and to the fact that you've done it yourself and really had a go. And fast forward maybe 5 or 6 years to the last trip you did down to Shipstons, where there was people the likes of Kelly Slater on board, Mark Matthews, some of the biggest names in big wave surfing. You had a really good day there as well. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, it's just like I don't know, being that underdog kind of guy most of the time. It was different. It wasn't like competing, but it was still a lot of these waves I went to. I did a lot of it by myself and just kind of packed my bags and just went, and I just ended up seeing guys like Mark and Hippo and Kobe and those guys more and more. I remember I went to a stage, I was probably on like 6 or 7 flights in a row where every flight I'd sit on there, and then Mark would walk on with Hippo.
Were they supportive too?
Yeah, and they were a bit standoffish at start and didn't really know who I was, and but always just were there to help me out, when we're out there, and they're trying to do their thing and get their big waves and get their photos and just do their thing. It's hard enough as it is. So yeah, they always helped out when they could. But yeah, I just ended up, more and more, the more and more that I did it, I just got to know those guys a lot better, and then they became a bit more supportive each time as well. And yeah, I got to have some good sessions with some pretty top guys. Yeah, and then that trip to Shipstones, it was the same thing. It was Laurie was there, and Hippo and Mark Matthews and Slater, and God, there was a pretty solid crew, and we're all just paddling, and it was good. It was I was feeling a bit more confident, and we were just starting to paddle a bit. I was a bit unprepared in my boards. I think it was towards the end of winter, and a lot of my boards were snapped, so I just grabbed a board on the way to the airport that I thought might work, and it didn't really work that well. But it was fun paddling with all those guys.
Getting flogged?
Yeah, I spent most of the day just getting pretty flogged, and then it really turned on. I hadn't really organised skis or anything because I just wanted to paddle, but for a couple of hours it got huge, and everyone just went into tow mode and started towing, and it gets pretty intense when that happens. So I was just got out of the way a bit and was on the boat watching, and then the wind kind of started puffing a little bit on shore, and yeah, that's when I got out there and managed to get a couple, but most of it,
yeah, that's great. And has being that just some of the waves that I've seen you taking, the big wave surfers in general, I like having a dig in waves when they're sizey, but that just makes me feel sick sometimes. Has it been something that you've always enjoyed, surfing big waves, and always been in the face of danger?
Yeah, for sure. I always enjoyed it, and I love doing it, but there's definitely at times, every time pretty much, I'd be terrified and I'd be scared, but there's always something that pushed me, that made me want to keep doing it and do it. But a lot of the times when you go Tahiti and places like that, and you know, you get there and all the big wave guys are there and everyone's saying it's going to be the biggest swell ever. Yeah, sometimes you want to crawl up in a little ball and just wish you were at home mowing lawns in safe garden. But yeah, so I get terrified, like most swells that I go for, but it was just something that was a challenge, and you know, I started training for it and getting myself more prepared and being more comfortable with it and getting to know the guys that were around me a lot more, and kind of, you know, the way that I, you know, put myself through when I was there and what I had to do to prepare and how to get waves and yeah, so that's how it all...
Being organised and having all the bases covered before you get to a place like that, or when you get to be as organised as you can, that's been a big help for you?
Yeah, preparation is number one
that's
key. Yeah, preparation is like number one key. And I did both. I did, you know, I used to chase swells when I was, you know, a lot younger, and I would, you know, just be here and I would party and I would do different things, and a swell would come. It's hard to be prepared all the time, and you know, you drop away from it a little bit because you know, there hasn't been swells for a while, and you get, you know, kind of sucked back into the normal life here and do stuff with your mates and whatever. And I chased big swells unprepared, and you know, had to deal with that. Yeah, and then but yeah, as I, you know, started to mature a bit more and realise it was what I really wanted to do, and then things started getting more and more serious. Just the benefits of being prepared and healthy and everything like that just made the huge difference and made the experience so much more enjoyable.
So what about mentally? You know, obviously the physical preparation and being organised is a huge component of it, but is there anything that you've adapted over the last few years to help you overcome that fear and work with it? Yeah,
definitely. Like, yeah, as I said, like as I matured a lot more and then started getting more and more serious about it and getting myself into more serious situations as well, yeah, you start looking for ways that you can deal and cope with the situations better and better. I did a lot of yoga and meditation that came in the early days. That, you know, that was the starting blocks that really helped me.
Open the doors for you.
Yeah, open the doors for me, and just realising, like, you know, how much of a mental game surfing big waves is. Yeah, surfing big waves. So yeah, then I started training more and more. Yeah, doing stuff with the mind and training different stuff in the pool, different drills in the pool, and trying to put myself in scenarios where you have to kind of deal with the stress that comes with that.
And what's that like when it's obviously you're really putting yourself in a stressful situation. What's it like in the pool, as opposed to then, does it relate pretty closely to big wave surfing?
Yeah, there's only, like, you know, we try to do it the best we can. It's really hard to mimic it exactly because you're dealing with nature and you're dealing with, you know, such crazy amounts of force. But yeah, there's definitely just certain techniques, different breathing techniques and different things you can do for your mind to get yourself in that better state. Same with, like, even just eating food and healthy food, and just, like I said, just being prepared is just such a, you know, the best tool that you can possibly have, knowing that you've done that work and you've done everything you can up until that moment, so then you're ready to go when you have to.
Yeah. And does that, so I suppose, does that translate, since you still, obviously you love surfing big waves, but it's not at the, I understand it's not at the focus of your being at the moment. Have you noticed all of these practices, the nutrition, the training, the meditation, and the mental side, have you noticed that that has a big spillover into your personal life and other aspects of your life as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's been huge. Yeah, I feel like, you know, sometimes that's what big wave surfing was given to me for, and why I did it. I learned so much from it, because you have to deal with, you know, really stressful times and situations, and you have to be as healthy and physically and mentally as you can. So I got myself in those states, but then I realized, like, how much you can use that in day-to-day life as well, because, you know, a stress is a stress, whether it's surfing a big wave or dealing financially or work or relationships or whatever it is. So yeah, if you know, can adapt that, and which I have, to day-to-day life, it's just been huge for me. So yeah, I feel blessed that I've, you know, been able to have such great people around me and great tools around me that I've used for big wave surfing, but now I just see how much I do use it in day-to-day life.
That's great. So surfing's been a really beautiful catalyst to get you really balanced all over.
Yeah, for sure. I've been, don't know, I guess where I'd be without surfing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
But to where it's got me at this moment, you know, and it's not what I always thought as well. You know, I was maybe chasing dream a bit and want to be a big wave pro surfer and all of that. And you know, I still love that side of it. But yeah, just other things that I've now realised that it's given me. You know, it's been a blessing in itself.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really good. So I suppose a lot of us could adapt that, you know, whatever we are chasing, it's important for us to be, you know, to be at the top of our health, and use that health to then chase our dreams, whatever that is, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like, everyone just wants to feel good. It's just a matter of applying yourself and, you know, doing that. So yeah, that's what I figured out through my surfing and all the people that came to me and taught me different things and things that I learned. You know, I just love feeling good. So you want to feel good so you can perform, but then just feeling good in every day-to-day life is you know, what makes me happy.
That's cool, man. So what's one thing that you would offer any advice to somebody, whether they're an aspiring big wave surfer, just a weekend surfer that just enjoys their time in the ocean, or if they're, you know, a normal guy that wants to experience more happiness in their life? What's one thing that you would kind of advise someone to do so that they can start like right now?
I think just like go out and just do what makes you happy is the number one thing, and just do what you want to do. Sometimes people get trapped and think they need to do things with other people or kind of follow the crowd in that way. You know, a lot of the greater things that I feel I've done in my life, I've done alone.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just can't wait for that person next to you to go out and do it. You know, so I think if you want to do something, whether someone's going to do it with you or you're just going to go out and do it by yourself, is just like trying to have that confidence. You know, whether it's, you know, going to chase a swell somewhere or going to a yoga class or a meditation class or something like that. I think it's just, yeah, you know, you just have to go out and find what makes you happy. It can vary for so many people, but just not waiting for someone else to be there with you, but just go out and do it by yourself if that's what it takes.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Well, thanks for having a chat with us. It's been great.
No worries.
And I know you're doing some awesome stuff with teaching other people to adapt the big wave stuff and doing some work in the pool, the breath enhancement training. So I'd love to chat with you another time on that. But for now, thanks very much.
Cool. Cheers. Thanks
Awesome.
so much. Thanks
Cheers.
for having me.